Going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as you all know, today is indeed Wednesday, which means a new summit is now live here at Motorfest. With that, we're going to have the Motorversary, which is going to be the 2-year anniversary of Motorfest. Yes, isn't that absolutely wild, guys? It is kind of insane. This game is literally 2 years old. I really don't know where time goes, and also I hope this game has bigger plans for year 3 to really get it better. But with that, we're going to have the party smoke. Obviously, nothing too insane there, at least for the rewards of this being in year 3 or going toward year 3 anyway, 2-year anniversary. For the next one, though, we're going to have the green hunting strips, which are stripes. I said strips, might as well be. Either way, though, this tire's looking interesting. For the final one, though, we're going to have the 919 Club Sport. And my goodness, this thing does look pretty dang dope. I hope it's going to be good, as I probably think it will be. Although I'm wondering if this is a racing class vehicle, though. Besides that, though, when it does come to the summit this week, this one is going to be on the weird side because, as you guys can see, the skills are normally going to be on the bottom over here, but there's going to be 2 of them on the top. That's basically it. Every single other event is going to be vehicle loaned, mainly focused on some hypercar events, some street tier 2, which is going to be one of them, motocross racing, and then hypercar. So there's going to be a nice mix there. Keep in mind, though, when it does come to the top left event, this is going to be the Maui Tour race, guys, so do keep in mind it's probably 8 to 10 minutes. Funny part is I got 8 minutes and 42 seconds, and to be real, my driving was not good, man. I kind of went through this. I wasn't turning good, and I really did end up messing up a good amount. For the other skill here in the slalom, it really is going to be self-explanatory. Basically, have a half score breaker, jump into this, and you pretty much will get a maxed out set pretty easily. For the speed trap, guys, basically turn around, go up the road, come back, and stay on the road, hit your nitrous. I got 301 miles per hour basically solo. If you are trying to get higher, well, you are probably going to have to do this with somebody else, or, find a way to jump into it and most likely use your air nitrous, but I ain't doing all that, bruh. Either way, though, heading over to Luxury Cruise, this event is also going to be the one to where you jump in. You have vehicle health, so you are going to have to cut in certain places. I got 151,000 points. Honestly, I probably could get faster and find different routes, but to be real, guys, I really don't see a point in doing that, as I'm already over 150,000 points. For the Street Tier 2 event, though, over here, it's also going to be fairly easy to do. Got this done around 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The biggest thing, honestly, man, with most of these events is really just focusing on getting the turns right, making sure you have the power, at least for the races themselves. What I mean by that is chasing Malu over here is going to be your favorite event. Yes, you are going to be doing a chase squad event. Which, do not worry, I know how much y'all love these races, right? Not really. I got 1.1 million, 156,000 points. It was not a good run at all. The reason why I do say that is going toward them, hitting them head on is the best way to do it. But this event, man, is going to be so random. Like, he just goes all over the place, and it really is hard to predict. So I kind of just got like a running start, hitting it from the side or the back at like 150,000 points. So I kind of just ran with that. Still got over a million. Honestly, I wouldn't really spend too much time on that. The other one is going to be the motocross one here, which is going to be one of the stunt events from the Redbull playlist. So keep in mind, guys, you have to do a wheelie, you have to hit the yellow thing, backflip and all that. So I would say right in the beginning of the event itself is probably the best place to do it. You are going to have to wheelie in the water, so I'd recommend doing that the second you get in the water. Besides that, though, right in the beginning, you can do everything else. Got 138,000 points with a decent run. It wasn't all that great, so I wouldn't recommend going too crazy on that one either. For the racing event here, you are going to have to use a Ferrari, and to be real, this one is fairly simple. I kind of just went through the race, went, oh, that's it, and pretty much moved on from there. I would say a lot of players might not like the way that car handles, as it can slide. The final one, though, over here is going to be a hypercar race, guys. It's going to be a 2-lap event in the lovely F80. So I would say a lot of players will do fairly good on this event, as it's going to be a pretty easy race for the most part. Overall, though, do let me know your thoughts on this summit, and if you have any questions in the comments below. It wasn't too bad. I kind of wish the rewards were better, as it's going to be the 2-year anniversary, but it turns out they're honestly not all that great. Besides all that, let's jump right into this.